Okay, today we're going to learn how to make a wall and a floor and a window in the wall and a swimming pool in Bryce. So this is all going to be made mostly out of Boolean cubes, because if you think about it, a wall is really just a Boolean cube that is stretched out wide and then thinned. So we're going to stretch it out wide, then we are going to go from the top, zoom out, so you can see what you're doing. Use the grid of the ground to help you when you're lining this up. I'm going to make it really skinny. You can click on the Z and you can move your mouse to the left to make it skinny or to the right to make it fatter along that way. And then I can click on the X and I can drag it to the right to make it longer and skinnier. You can also use the edit menu up here to resize and reposition. Then I'm going to rotate this, put this right here, and I'm going to use this as my wall. So this is going to be my wall. So I'm going to make it along the size of the ground. Okay? Then I'm going to copy it, Control C, Control V, and I'm going to rotate it on the y-axis until it's straight perpendicular to the other wall. So I'm going to make a nice corner here. So I have two walls. You can go ahead and look at this from the camera view because we can see the camera is looking at the walls. And the walls are really more like fences because they're really short. So I'm going to click on the Y and move my mouse to the right to make them taller. Click on this one, click on the Y, move my mouse to the right, make it taller, match them up so that they're the same height. So I have two walls. I'm going to select my walls by holding down Shift. I'm going to go to M for material, and in the materials I'm going to find a material that I would like to use for the walls. We have architectural, which is pretty good, so you could use walls in architectural. There's a couple of brick walls that you could use, dungeon walls, cave walls, another brick wall. I think I'll try this brick wall here. Check it off, check it off. So I have two brick walls. Now the floor, we are not going to use the ground for the floor. We are going to make a ground. So that is going to be another cube. So I'm going to make a cube, and then I am going to use the top view to resize this cube so that it becomes big enough to be the floor. Okay, so there's my cube, but I need to look at this back from the camera view. We can tell the camera, if I zoom out a little bit, this is the camera. This triangle right here is the camera, and this is what the camera can see. So right now, the camera can see into this corner. You can also change the camera view by clicking on the camera and moving the camera, and you could rotate the camera around, and now the camera could be rotated to see the room this way. So what I'm going to do now is I have to go back and check on this floor. So I'm going to view it back from camera view, and then I'm going to view it from the side. And I'm going to zoom out because I'm zoomed in too close. From the left, from the top. Okay, so here's my floor. So I need to shrink the floor down a little bit so that it's more like the floor. And I have these two walls. So I'm going to make a material for the floor. I'm going to go to the material menu and architectural. There's flooring you can use. There's this nice plank wood flooring. There's bathroom tile flooring. We'll get back to that and check and check. Okay, so now we need to make a window that goes through the wall. So we're going to go back to the camera view. If I render, you'll see I have a floor and I have a brick wall, but you can't see anything because the light is blocked out from this point of view. An easy way to fix that is to choose sky and fog and change my sun to the other side and render, and now my sun is on the other side of the sky. But it's not realistic that you would have the sun and an open top without a ceiling, so we'll make a ceiling in a bit. But you can also go to the create menu and you can put a light in the middle of the house. This radial light will just go everywhere out from the sphere. So if I just put a radial light in there and then reposition it up on the top, then I have a light that's shining in my room. So you can see when that renders, that looks really nice. So I'm going to put 2 windows in. I'm going to put a window in on this wall and a window in on this wall. So a window needs to be created by creating a negative space. So we've learned how to do a Boolean group. Now what we're going to do is we're going to view this from the top. I am going to make a copy of this wall because it's easy to copy the shape that I already have. Control C, Control V. I'm going to use the Z axis to shrink this. All I did was click on the Z dot and move my mouse to the left. Now I'm going to move this over on the Z axis so that it's more centrally located in my wall. Now the window needs to be a negative space that gets pushed through either side of the wall. So I am going to resize it so that it's a little bit bigger than the wall on each side. So it is a negative space. We haven't made it a negative space yet, but it will be a negative space that goes through this wall on both sides. But I also need to make sure that it is also, I'm going to copy this piece, I'm going to bring it over here. I want a window over here also, and rotate it on the y-axis. Click, move my mouse to the left until it's lined up. Alright, I'm going to go back to my camera view because I need these to not be on the ground, and I need them to not be as tall as the entire thing. So I'm going to make them a little bit shorter by clicking on the Y dot and moving it to the left. Them a little bit shorter. Then I'm going to raise them up the Y-axis by clicking on the Y-axis. Pause.